Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Oi, it's blowing an absolute, look at this. Probably doesn't show too badly on camera. You're sort of shielded from the wind there. It's blowing an absolute gale outside. So what I've done is brought the Blue Peril into the garage, and today we're going to give you an update on the Blue Peril. Project Blue Peril. Let's just turn this off. We've come a long way with this car. This car cost me £2,000 about a year ago, and it was bought because I just thought the E46 was a great car. I've owned quite a few of them, and the Club Sport is like a limited edition one, and it's nice. I like the SRL paintwork. I like the lines of the car. You know, I love the fact you can get a sort of performance coupe for £2,000 with a TV in it and sat nav and cruise control and everything. That's the good side. The downside was this car came, sorry, I'll look at the camera a bit more. This car came with a whole smorgasbord, I like that word, smorgasbord of issues and faults. And I've been filming the repair process so that when the project's complete, I can collect all of those bits of footage together and show you how many things have been fixed on these cars. And I've fixed about 95% of the things that need fixing, which I'm quite pleased with, and I've enjoyed doing it, and that was the whole point. Now let's move on. Yesterday we were down at the Bedford, and I've done another video on the track day, and there's some issues now. We hammered the car for an open pit full day at Bedford, and I thought that this car would never survive, you know, a full day of track use and abuse. Let's be frank. Or John. So yeah, the car got absolutely hammered on the track.
Hey!
Jesus! Initially, after a first couple of sessions where I took the car out, the clutch was overheating and started slipping. I couldn't put the power down. I'm thinking, oh no, that's it, game over. But I brought the car in, let it cool down for about half an hour, then changed how I drive, because I've got a bad habit of riding the clutch a little bit. And I think that probably contributed to overheating it, although the clutch is on its way. I started slamming the clutch into gear a little bit more, you know, just quickly slam it into gear and then get off the clutch as quick as you can. And that is quite aggressive, but actually helped with that. And after doing that, the clutch didn't overheat, and I was able to rag the car again, which was great. Now, during the day, I got a little beeping noise, and the traction control system and ABS system has failed. So I had no ABS. I run it with the traction control fully off anyway, but I believe the ABS stopped working as well. We're going to investigate that in this video, see if we can find out what's going on with that and fix that. Later on towards the day, I got a brake error, and I believe that the rear pads have gone through the little low sensor now, and I've got 1 millimetre left on the pad, so I've ordered new pads for the rear and a replacement sensor, and we'll put those on maybe tomorrow. I have a track day on next month, in probably about 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. What am I worried about? So I need to get all this traction control issues sorted. I'm worried about this front wheel. Look at the mess on that front wheel. It's got this white residue on it. It's like a white powdery residue. No other wheel has that white residue on it. You know, I can show you the passenger side. Just looks all right, doesn't it? They're filthy that you probably can't see in the camera. And that one over there, they're filthy, but there's something going on over here. That white powdery residue is not on the inside, it's only on the outside of the tyre. And I was thinking, what the hell is that? That's something to do with the fact that that tyre was taking most of the abuse because it's an anti-clockwise circuit. That's not. There's a little chirping noise coming from the front of the car. Chip, 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 chip. And as you speed up, that chirping noise disappears. I think something's rubbing in there. Shoe must be obeyed. Something's rubbing in there. I'm a little bit worried about that. So I need to take this off and have a good look around. Make sure nothing is rubbing against anything else. Why is the dirt only on the outside? Is it a wheel bearing? Wheel bearings don't create like a white powder if they start to fail. If a wheel bearing goes, I've had that before, you know, you're going to get a grindy noise. The noise might fit the bill, but it's like a little chirping noise. Something's rubbing. I'm worried, but let's not speculate until I take the tyre off and have a look and see what's going on. But that's not normal. That's worrying. Anyway, now, what jobs are left to do on this E46? And this is the point where I want to get some advice from you guys. And believe it or not, I read all the comments on the advice and they help me. You know, there's always different views that are contradicting each other, so I can never, you know, I'll always do something that will disagree with someone else, but I read it and it helps me. Now, the E46, the problem with this car is it, like I say, I paid £2,000 for it. I think that's a bargain, and I think I've already had my money's worth out of this I've used this car about 5 or 6 times around different track days. I've never had track insurance, which is about 200 quid for a day, isn't it? So that's £1,000 I've saved straight away from just having this car. Doing the content on the car has probably made me more than £1,000. I don't know about that actually, who knows. But what I'm saying is, this car's almost paid for itself so far, but I've also had to shell out quite a lot in parts for it and stuff like that, which you're going to have to do. You can't go and buy a 150,000 mile car and just think it's going to be absolutely perfect and I'm not going to have to do anything. So there's a reason these cars are cheap, and that's if you buy one that's done a lot of mileage, you're going to need to replace stuff and work on it. Now, we're going to carry on doing that and getting the car a bit sharper, but the dilemma I've got is around the paint. I've been going around asking a few garages about quotes for a full respray, because I need a full respray really on the car. I've explained why. And we are still looking at the reputable places want closer to £4,000 to do a proper glass out, cut the rust out, weld in new panels, everything out, you know, all in bits, all the panels off that you can paint, you know, to do a proper job. I know places that will do it, like I've said before, for £1,000, but I don't want that type of, I don't want just a blowover. It would bug me so much if I did a cheap blowover, you know, especially as someone that's into their paintwork. It would just bug me because I can see the little signs. So it's a compromise though, because you can't want everything cheap and then expect everything to be amazing, can you? But what I want is somewhere that's going to respray the car for about £2,000. So that's what I'm trying to find, and then I want to sort of have a conversation with them about what the compromises are there, what they can't do that I want them to do, and stuff like that, and come to some sort of agreement. And I'm struggling with that at the moment, but I'll get there in the end. What jobs are left to do on this car? Sort of like beyond the paintwork stuff. We've sorted out the fuel pump, paint we just mentioned. Need to get the front 2 trim pieces for the front bumper. That's bugging me, but I'll do that after it's painted. And now I'm at the stage where I'll get one more tracked out, these tyres. I'll put new tyres all round, new brake pads all round. I will do the rotors, the brake discs as we call them. I'll do those myself as well. So new brakes and discs. I need to get a new carpet for the boot because it stinks and I can never get the smell out of that. I want to sort the TV out as well because it's on the old analog system, and I think you can mess around or buy a module for it to digitalise it and get the OEM TV working with the new digital signals. If anyone knows about that, let me know. Someone must have done that. Rear seals, and I want to do the same thing on this car that I did on my E36. Take this glass out, take these perished seals. That one's starting to perish because they're not that expensive actually. I thought that would be a nightmare of a job, but it isn't that difficult, so why not do that one as well later on. So once that's pretty much it, and then once that's done, the car is in okay shape until the next thing that goes wrong. The only other thing is that after doing the track day, the roll on the car is really getting on my nerves. The roll, the body roll, it's really wallowy, and it does need stiffening up, not just for the track. The suspension, the stiffness of the suspension is just about right for UK roads. It's fine for roads, but on a track it's too wallowy. So I want to tighten it up. I might do that anti-roll bar upgrade, the H&R one. Maybe is it the B12 kit that you can buy for them for the suspension. One of the struts is rotten, one of them is in good nick. The springs look okay, but it might be worth just spending that 600 or 700 quid for all of that suspension kit, and maybe just biting the bullet and power flexing all of the bushes and stuff like that. I don't know. Don't want it too stiff. I don't want it to be rattling around on the road and stuff like that. So all this is a little bit of an unknown. You're never going to be, you know, I'm not, when I take this to a track, most of the cars are flying past me because they've got tons more power. So does it really matter? You know, I don't need to go crazy with the upgrades on this, with the old race bucket seats and all that sort of stuff, and strip it all out. I don't need to go crazy. It's just too much roll. So let's look at sorting that out. And then that'll be it for the car after that. After that, it will go into care and maintenance, and I'll just try and keep it in as good a condition as I can, and I'll try not to destroy it on the track as well. You can still take them to these track days and stuff like that. You know, what I'm doing with the car, I want to be responsible with the car as well. I don't want to just destroy it, you know, rag it till it blows up and then just send it down the scrapyard. That's not very nice, because I've taken all the time to refurbish all the interior, and a lot of work's gone on the inside as well. Anyway, let's go. Well, let's try and shoot this all in one take. Let's go inside the car now and see if we can figure out what's going on with our first problem, which is all of this ABS sensor stuff, guys. So let's just, oh Jesus, get in there. Oh Jesus. Okay. Right, we're in the car. Hopefully you can see. Probably not, but oh yeah, it looks okay. Right, so let's just turn this thing on and let's just fire up this software called IMPA. So we're connected. So if I turn my thing off, we disconnect. I turn my key on, we connect. We are picking E46 3 Series. First up, let's go and have a look at the engine. So we are, what are we? We are an M52. Oh no, we're M54, aren't we? That's our engine. You know, I know I'm holding a camera and trying to read out what's going through my brain. So it's that one there, isn't it? Come on. Click. All right, there we go. Right. Oh, okay, so version, I've got an old version, but it's connected essentially. Now if I go to here, we should be able to read the errors that are stored in the engine. Even though it's not showing any EML errors, I just want to have a look at this. There'll be errors in there. There's always errors in there, especially after a track day. So we've got 4 errors currently present. We've got lambda probe heating downstream sensor. So there's some errors have been triggered on the lambda probe. Error frequency is what we're interested in, isn't it? So we had 32 instances of the error thresholds or whatever triggers this error being exceeded. Does it give you the date? 10th of the 18th. No, that's because the clock's out on my laptop. Okay, so we're not worried about the date. I probably cleared these. I reckon most of these errors come up when I was on the track, but I've got no way of knowing that. I should clear the errors before I go on the track, really, shouldn't I? Next issue, tank ventilation valve. 20 errors. Error not currently. This is what's important as well. Error not currently available. Sporadic error. Error not currently available. So it's clocking up those errors, but they're not present now, so they probably only clock up when it's running. Tank ventilation valve. I wonder if that's got anything, because I obviously had the problem with the fuel pump. I don't know if that's related. Burning fails cylinder 3 and cylinder 4. Now that would normally be quite serious, but there's only one counter of those, so I'm not too worried about those. All I'm going to do with these errors is just clear them. If you know anything more about them, let me know. But the car engine has been running great for a while, since the fuel pump issue was sorted out. In fact, the car feels like the engine's nice and healthy. I suppose that doesn't mean it is. Okay, so we're clear on these errors now. How do we go back? Right, F10. Back again. Right. Now, what are these special tests? I've never tried those before. F4. Back in there. What we want to have a look now for is the errors here on the traction control. So I'm just going to fire the car up actually to make sure I'm not in gear. Yeah, that's good. There's our brake low light. That always comes onto your rev. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about that at all. Ooh, got some sort of belt squeak in there. Right, that's gone. So those. Let's just take the handbrake off. Those are that I'm not worried about. I'll clear that once I've done the brakes. These two errors those are the errors I'm worried about. So we're going to turn this back on. Don't turn it off, you donut. Ooh, don't want to run the car when I'm in here too long. In fact, let's just vent this out. Hold on a second. Just going to get some air. Get some air in here. I'll be doing the video and I'll be going. Be the first YouTuber to ever record himself asphyxiating himself in the garage by mistake. Right, that's a bit of air. That should be enough. Right. So let's have a look. I know that this one here doesn't work. I think. Let me just try that. I need to get, yeah, so it's, you can't use that one. You've got to use, for some reason, it's really just a version thing. I think I have to use DSC, one of these DSC ones. No, the other one. Oh, what does she want? What does she want? Dinner's getting cold. Oh my god, it's that time already. Okay, versions do not match. We're not worried about that. Okay, so I've connected to the module that's controlling this ABS and traction control system. So now when we read errors, F4. Right, we've got 4 errors in memory. If you can read that. Wiring supply voltage greater than 18 volts. But only 2 counters of that. That could have just been, don't know. Wiring supply voltage less than 9 volts. They're only single counters. That isn't an error. That's some old thing probably when I was buggering around with a battery or something. Who knows? These are the ones I'm interested in. These ones. Pressure sensor 1/2. Not plausible. I don't know what that means. Error is not error. Test no matching error symptoms. Error would not cause a warning light to light up. I don't know what that one is. Let me know. This is the one I think. Yeah, this is the one. It's this one. Error present now. 22 counts of pressure sensor 2. I don't know why it's called pressure sensor, but I think that is some sort of sensor. What I don't know is if it's used for the anti-lock brake or the traction control, if it's used for both. Is that just like a wheel speed sensor that's gone? So that's what I need to look at. So if I Google that error, 5E21 pressure sensor 2 electrical failure, I'm sure I can find a solution for that, and hopefully it's one of the sensors that's down there. So let me know on that, guys. You know, this is part of the thing for me, is just seeing how much of this I can actually fix myself. Okay, so she's going nuts inside, so I'm going to go inside, see what she wants. I think it's dinner time. Then I'm going to come back. Boom, I'm back. It's been hours in. Boom, I'm back. It's been hours in real life, but for you that would be instant flow. Just been doing some googling, so that term pressure sensor can make sense now, doesn't it? It's not like the speed sensor, it's the ABS pressure. So it looks like here where the master cylinder is and all the brake modules, you know, down here I think these are the two pressure sensors. I'm not sure which one is 1 or 2, but you've got to drain, you're going to have to take all the fluid out anyway, which I'm not sure how you do, but it wouldn't matter, would it? Yeah, I don't know how to do this job at all, but I'm assuming you've got to drain all the brake fluid out from somewhere. Maybe you could just undo one of the nipples and pump the brake, squeeze it out into a jar, do the nipple back up when you're low, then take the sensor off, unscrew one of those sensors, put the new one in, screw it all back up, and tip the excess back into the reservoir. That should work, shouldn't it? You won't put any air in the system if you do that. Don't know. Things can go horribly wrong, and I think the sensor is about 150 quid, something like that. That might be a part that I could get from a breakers. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to try making sure the head shells are back on the sensors properly. Just give them a little gentle tap. I know. Desperate times. You can't get your hand in there. One of the head shells on one of the sensors moved quite a lot. I wonder if it just slipped off, but I doubt it. So if we go back with our software, oh, it's going to drag me, isn't it? Come on. Oh God, this is a bit of a poor way to work. Bodge. It's a bodge job and a half. This is. Get off. So I've just cleared the ABS system, and immediately after clearing it, yeah, this kind of makes sense. The error hasn't cleared. Pressure 2, electrical failure. So it probably sounds like I need a new brake pressure sensor. Great. Okay. So I went like that, pointed that at my face, thinking it was the camera, stared into the light. Getting tired. So the wheel's up. You can see, guys, like, it's a weird funky old dust, this, and there's less of it here. It's on the outside, mainly on the outside. There, it's there as well, lighter dust. So it's like it's not on the inside. And the inside tyre is clean and black. So it's almost something on this side is flying out, sticking onto here, which I've just never seen before. And then it, look, so if we turn that feels alright. Doesn't sound, it sounds, I mean, obviously it's rubbing on the brake a little bit, but it's spinning, that's normal. There's nothing wrong there. Well, that's, you know, it's not making any like funky grinding noises. Let's take this wheel off. Okay, there's no point in filming this, so I'll be back in a second. Okay guys, tyre is off. Tyre is off. If we look in here, you know, I was worried it was something to do with the brakes. Because I put these new pads in before we went. So immediately I was looking over the edge here. But I thought, when I first peeked over, I thought I couldn't see the pad, and I was like, I hope the pad hasn't come off the plate. It isn't that. The pad is fine in there, it's just hidden away, but it's all good. So the brakes are fine, and there's just no mess or any of that white powder in here. I mean, look, we've got two things in here. This is all in decent order. I mean, the discs are going to need doing at some point. There's still a fair old bit of meat on them. They don't need doing straight away. We've got fresh pads, so I'm going to put the fresh pads in the back. These heat shields are good. This strut is rotted. I had new front struts from a certain company, but I threw them in the bin. The other strut on the other side is decent. That anti-roll bar link, a lot of the paint's come off and there's corrosion there, although that was lost. It's not done, but those bushes on the anti-roll bar link, well, it's hard to tell. Some of these bushes, it generally looks okay underneath the car. The weird thing with this is I can't see anything that's caused this funky stuff on the outside of the car, and it just struck me when I saw it as an alarm bell that something was wrong. There's a funny noise coming from that side. It's a big difference. There's nothing on this tyre this side apart from normal dirt. Just wondering maybe if it's just because it was an anti-clockwise track, you're kind of leaning that way all the time and you're sort of turned that way, and maybe that just creates the airflow that blows significantly more dust, brake dust, out of the wheel, so it becomes like a bit of an air tunnel when you're turning a certain way. That's the only thing I can think, because nothing else seems wrong. Very bizarre. I was convinced there was a problem. Now I'm not so sure. Bizarre. So that's it for this one, guys. The update on the 330 Club Sport is really my immediate jobs. Fit the new rear pads and sensor. Order a pressure sensor. I'll probably get one second hand. I'll give ping Nick Jupp a message, see if he's got one. I'm just thinking if it's worth getting a new one though. Probably isn't, is it? It depends on the price. So I don't know, we'll see on that one. Today's a bit of a write-off actually, but tomorrow I might